Hello quants, today we will compare Asia versus US trading hours when trading Bitcoin. I heard rumblings on Twitter or a podcast, unfortunately I don't remember exactly where that was from, but if you had shorted Asia and gone long US hours, you would have made a killing. So these stories are always fun, especially for a topic of a video, but for traders they're useless. We need quantitative facts, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do here, how to ask a question and get quantitative facts, or at least a lot more reliable pointers than rumors, using TradingView, using its free data feeds and its Pine scripting language. So if you haven't got an account, please go ahead. It's free and it's one of the better tools out there. So welcome to the Val Mel Show. My name is Manuel Amunategui. This is going to be the last indicator focusing on time that we will do. This video stands on its own, so you don't have to watch the other ones. As a quick recap, we did two last week. I filmed two last week. One, build real-time multi-time frame indicators in TradingView, where you're looking at the 5-minute chart, but you want to capture the exact hour or 4-hour or daily candle in an indicator, right? You want to capture the mass psychology of people looking at the 1-hour candle. And this is how we do it, right? There are different ways of doing it, but check out that video if you're interested in that. And there's even other rumors where people are bullying the market to shape the candle a particular way, like a doji or something like that, to influence the subsequent bars. And before that, we did weekend versus weekday market action. Also, a lot of rumors of the weekend market and Bitcoin being bullied because there's less people, there's less volume. So check it out. It's definitely an interesting video, especially if you trade on weekends. You need to know this stuff. My math was a little off, and commenter Jarvis fixed my math, so thank you for that. But it's still the conclusion is still better than random, better than the flip of a coin. So check it out. So let's go back to TradingView. I'm here in TradingView. I'm looking at Bitcoin and on Coinbase, so you can look at whatever you want. This concept will apply to anything that trades in different time zones. So whenever you want to do something like, okay, I want to compare Asia hours versus US hours or European hours, whatever it is, the first thing you need to do is not reinvent the wheel. When I make these videos, I usually have 30 minutes to think about the idea and maybe 30 minutes to film them. So I'm always going to look for any shortcuts I can do. So the first thing you need to do is go to your indicator button, the FX here, and see if somebody has already done this, right? Don't reinvent things. So for example, here we can do Asia session. And there's plenty of people who have done stuff, so you don't want to reinvent. Use these things to as a jumping board, right? Especially the ones that share code. That's really nice of them. Like we'll take this one here, and see what this looks like. And there it is. It shows you. It highlights the Asia sessions. I'm looking at the 30-minute, and if you look at the code, so we added this indicator. Go to the curly brackets, and you'll see the code. And there it is, right? This is how you bring different time frames inside of Pine script. So, we're going to start ours from scratch because I want to do something a little different, though I have used this kind of information to kind of jumpstart. So I'm always thankful for that. So you go open, new blank indicator to get a brand new one, right? So I'm not going to worry about saving it because I like to see the progression from one line of code to another. It's an easy way of kind of almost debugging what you're doing visually. But we need to bring in time frames. So the way you would do this is we need to figure out exactly in UTC. So my charts are usually using UTC, Universal Time, because this is crypto. It trades 24/7. It's not tied to one country. So I always leave my time to UTC. And in this case, it makes sense. And there's a great site here, thebalance.com, that has stock market hours for different countries, different exchanges. Here you see it for the New York Stock Exchange. It says, the local time, but it also gives you the UTC time. So we can see it's 2:30 to 9. Okay, that works. And if you scroll down, you get South America, Brazil, you get Europe, but we want Asia here. So we'll just take, we'll take Japan here or Hong Kong, which doesn't matter. In UTC, it's 1:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. They have a lunch in there to 5 a.m. Okay, perfect. So this gives us the UTC time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Pine script. I'm going to remove this. We don't really need this. And go back to my Pine script. So go to Pine editor where we started our code. And we're going to create variables for different time frames. So I'm going to go Asia open. And in here, we're going to create the time. And this is how you do a time frame. So time. And if you're not sure how to do it, just hover on it or hit, I think it's Command click, which brings the pop-up. and time. It will give you all the details and even some examples of how to do this, right? Time, how to bring time frame. You know what? I'm going to copy it from here because I'm lazy. Though this is not what we need. It's going to be a good start. So Asia opens equals time frame period. And here we have to put the in UTC what we wanted. So let me see my notes. It is 0132. We said I'm going to go to 8 a.m. UTC. And that will give you the weekdays, not the weekends. So if you want to choose specific days, you need to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We want all days of the week because this is 24/7, Monday through Sunday. So here we have our Asia open. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to get a US open. So let me just copy and go US open here. And the US open, we said, let me check my notes, is 14:30 to 21. So 14:30 to 21. Same deal. Okay, so now we have our 2 times. Let's add a background color and see if it works, right? So we could do background color, so BG color. And you know it's a function when it turns blue or red, and you can hit the command again and click, and you have the pop-up. So let me just, it just looks like a question, color, perfect. I'm just gonna copy this. It's gonna work for us. So if we don't care if it's closed or open, but we care if it's Asia open. Actually, I'm gonna do this a little different. I'm gonna go color equals. If it's Asia open, then we're gonna make it green. Else, we're not gonna make it anything. So NA and transparency 70. And if it's US open, we're gonna make it red. Otherwise NA. Okay. Let me add that to the chart, see if it works. And look at that. So we have Asia 2 to 8, and then US market 2:30 in the afternoon to was it 8? And this is UTC time. So this is exactly what we wanted, right? So very quickly, very easily. If you wanted to add this to the actual chart, you'd have to go into, let me show you. You'd have to go here and go overlay equals true. And again, you can hover over the function to see what it offers. And if I do add to chart, we're now going to have it overlaid as well here, right? But we don't want that here. So I'm going to remove this from here and go back to my Pine Editor's code. Okay, so we are looking pretty good. We have our 2 time frames and our background color. So we want to see if, right, again, if the Asia Bitcoin tends to go down while the US Bitcoin tends to go up, right? That's the question we're trying to ask. So I'm going to create a reset hour. So if you had seen my previous video, weekend versus weekday, we're going to use a similar approach. So we're going to add another time frame where we're going to reset the time, and it's going to make sense hopefully once we do it. So let me just add another one here, another time frame called reset. No, it's going to reset open. And same deal, we're going to add a time, and that's going to give us a time frame with which we can reset the day, right? So it's going to go Asia, US, reset, Asia, US, reset, and that's going to allow us to compare each trading days one by one. So here we're going to want to do the reset is, we're going to go with something in between. So right after this one, so let's go 2101, and we can go to the Asia start, so 29. It's not meant to be a precise science. And let me just color it in so we can see what it looks like color-wise. And let's go with blue. This is reset open. Okay, so now we have, right, our start, right? It's going to be the Asia market, and the US market, and in blue we have our reset. So I really want to get is the first open price of the Asia action, the close price of the Asia action, the open price of the US action, the close price of the US action, to be able to compare it, right? So in a way, we're kind of creating our own bar for each for each market. And you could do this for the European markets. You could do this for the other markets. It'd be trivial, right? It's the same concept. So let me go back here. So now let's start asking our questions. So I'm interested in if Asia is open. So now let's focus on Asia. So if Asia is open, and we're going to create a variable, Asia open price equals 0.0. You got to declare it a float because we're dealing with floats, not integers. So if Asia is open, and if Asia open equals 0.0, then we can assign the Asia open price, which is basically the close. It's that simple. And we're going to create another variable called Asia close price. And that's going to be the close of the Asia trading session. And that can be, I think I got my tabs wrong here. That's got to be correct, right? And if statements in PineScript have to be tabbed. So here, I'm going to constantly add the closing price every time it goes. So we are in a 30-minute chart, so every 30 minutes we're going to have a close, and it's always going to append the latest one or take the latest one, and we don't care, right? That's all we care about. So because these are not arrays, we want them as a variable that is always updated, right? Not created every time. So we're going to declare them as variables, and when you update these variables, you got to go colon equals. So PineScript knows you are updating this master variable, right? That's only one, right? You're not recreating one all the time. We're going to do the same thing for the US. If US is open, we're going to create two variables for the US. Same concept, right? I'm just going to copy in US. So if US is open, and if the US price is 0, give it the close, and give the closing one the close every time, right? So hopefully this makes sense because we only want one open price for that daily session. So once you assign that price a value, it's not going to be 0.0. So it's only going to assign it once. But the close, we always want the last one, the latest one. So we're going to allow it to constantly add a new one until it's over, and it's going to automatically hold the last one. So this is going to give us the Asia open, the Asia close, the US open, US close, right? So now we know it. So now we're asking the question, are we in our reset period, right? In a reset period, that means we have both daily trading sessions, the US and Asia. We can now do our own little comparison. Reset open. That didn't make sense. Rest. If reset open, now we can ask a question. We can say, let's start with just the closes. If the Asia close is smaller than the US close, we're going to increment an agree variable. Agree equals agree plus 1. So of course you got to declare var agree equals 0. These are integers, so you don't have to do float. So we just need to set them to 0. This agree equals 0, same deal. And here we have agree equals equal, and else, right? Meaning if the Asia is higher than the US close, then we would go disagree, would increment disagree. Disagree plus 1. So now we already have some intelligence, and we can basically ask this question, run this code through, I think in 30 minutes, probably going to have it starts, I think, at the beginning of the year, I think we can check. Definitely quite a few bars. And we simply plot it, right? We'd go plot agree. We're going to plot agree in blue because that's our premise. And disagree in red. And we're going to add it to the chart and see the results. Ooh, look at this. We can see that around, let's say 2,000 times it agreed, and around 2,000 and 1,500 it disagreed. So definitely there is a slight bias towards the Asian market being below the US market. So that's interesting, right? And let's see how much backtesting we're doing here. So I'm going to kind of just manually scroll all the way back because I think it goes only to January. I tried it. So, oh no, it goes more than that. Let's see how far it goes. Basically, we're going to see both lines going to 0. So, well, that's interesting. Look at that. At the beginning, the Asia market was higher. Okay, so it starts here. So it looks like we're starting January 2020. So it gave us a year and a couple months of data. And you can see at the beginning, Asia market and US market were duking it out, but then it's just blue. That means it agrees. Well, a little peak here where the Asia market was higher than the US market. So what we can say is by backtesting it for a year and 2 months, we can say this is the result we get. This time I'm going to do the math a little bit more correctly. I pulled out my calculator, but it looks like 57% of the time, again, backtesting it a year and 3 months or 2 months, the US market ended up higher than the Asia market. So it's definitely an edge. And same thing with the weekday video. We also saw an edge there, probably around 60%. So check out the video to get more details. But this is also an edge there. So one more thing I want to show here. Let me go back to the code. So all we needed here was the closing price. So why did we bother with the US open price? Because we can ask another question that I think is interesting as well, is we could, instead of saying if the close are higher, how about the bar size? I think that's interesting. And we can do that by going, taking the close minus the, let's do this. Let's do the absolute of the bar size. And the absolute same deal here. I mean, you can ask anything you want. Just, as long as you're creative with the question, you can do all this work so easily. It'd be so hard to do in Python. You have to get the data, clean up the data, put it in pandas, then do your. Here it's just trivial with PyScript. That's what I like. I mean, I love Python as well. But okay, so is the size of the bar bigger? Here we're saying this the range of the bar will be smaller during Asian hours and US hours. Let's see. Let me add this to see if this works. Oh, one thing we need to do here, this is critical. We need to reset the open to 0, right? Because otherwise you're going to always end up with just that one open. Because we have a gate here, right? If it's 0. So every reset bar, you need to set that one to 0. That's important here. Otherwise, you're not going to get the open. Again, we're assign it where we want to reset the actual variable. And it looks like we're getting about the same ratio. Interesting. So I'm not, I'm not putting my stamp of certification that this is correct. I'm just saying this is the way you can ask these fairly complex questions trivially using Pine scripting. And we can see there is, a 57% chance probability that the US close will be higher than the Asia close, that the US range will be bigger than the Asia range, right? So take it with a grain of salt, but this is how you ask these questions, these pointed quantitative questions, which I think are super interesting, and it might give you a little edge in the market. So do your own back testing. Here we're using 30-minute bars because we're dealing with 30-minute slices. You could use smaller time frames. If you were willing to do it in hours, you could do larger time frames, but there's plenty of ways of slicing and dicing, and you get a year and 2 months worth of data to backtest, which is pretty cool. So plenty more videos on my channel on Bitcoin, on data science, on finances, a lot of that. Please give the video a thumbs up if you like it. Let me know if I'm making mistakes here. That was, I always appreciate people calling for it, people telling me, hey, this is wrong, because I want to learn as well. And if you have your own ideas for this kind of stuff, let me know. I'm interested in hearing about it and maybe even making videos about it. So thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.